like sports talk. As you know, like all of us, we are missing sports because of the coronavirus lockdown almost in the whole world. So I'm gonna add our like my guest. There we go. Start with Sheryar. Sheryar, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much. And then next is Ron Shivji in Calgary. Hello, Ron.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Ron.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Great.
Okay, then we have a Zeeshan Khan. Zeeshan bhai, how are you?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Good, good. Thank you so much for coming in. And one of our good friend, Tamiz Khan. How are you, Tamiz bhai?
I'm good, Jalal. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thanks for coming in, guys. And I'm sure you guys, as I said in the beginning, since the lockdown started, and we are missing sports. We are we are missing a hockey, football, like basketball, cricket. Like the whole, or like soccer. Everything is so not all we cannot enjoy right now. And so, first of all, before I go, why don't we have a kind of introduction for all of you? If you can just give us like your 2 minutes in like kind of intro, we can start with Sheryar.
Sure. All right. So right now I am currently not unemployed, but just at home right now due to this pandemic. I will be going back to work very soon. I work for Enterprise Rent a Car at the moment, but away from it, I work for a hockey team right now. I'm in sports management. I've done sports broadcasting as well. And so I've been doing that for almost 9 years now.
Wow.
So I'll be heading into a pretty important part of my life where I'll be working with a hockey school. So once this is all over, we'll get down to the business and start with this hockey academy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But there's been a lot of downtime, spending time at home. So you get to appreciate little things right now, see things differently. So I've learned a lot about myself and just people around me, and I'm just looking forward to getting back to whatever our new norm is going to be for the rest of 2020.
That's true. And Ron?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, thanks for your intro there. For myself, I guess non-involved in any professional sports, surprisingly, but just a lot of recreational sports in terms of playing. Right now, I've been playing rec volleyball, rec soccer, and organizing ball hockey for some older guys. I've been doing that for almost 2, maybe 3 years now, and just been enjoying doing that with guys I grew up with, and then just enjoyed the interaction with them as teenagers and young adults, and thought I'd carry that on later on. So a guy like Tamiz, who you'll get introduced to as well, he's part of that. So involved in, like, let's say, rec sports in Calgary.
Nice. Yes, Zeeshan bhai.
So I'm working for Canadian Tire as a senior technical specialist, and I am also part of a non-profit organization called the All Alberta Sports Foundation. So we basically have programs for kids, mostly sports programs, basketball, badminton, you name it. Like we try and give all the kids sports opportunities. We recently started Northeast chapter. I am the director for the Northeast chapter for different forms of sports. I have basketball under my forte. Plus, I'm also lead for the firearm activity group for ASAF. I play Airsoft. So yeah, I'm a big, as you can see, big Flame fans. Big Flame fan. Missing hockey a lot. So looking forward to our discussion today.
Nice. And Tamiz, Blue Jays fan. Wow.
My Flame shirt's dirty, so I had to wear something. So yeah, I've just been involved with Subway restaurants. I'm the operational manager. We have 3 stores in the city. 2 of them recently opened. We were closed due to COVID. And the third one, inshallah, will open up after the long weekend. and just keeping myself busy. Most of the times I'm at home, but doing more research on effective marketing and seeing how other small businesses who are franchised and non-franchised, how they're coping and what strategies they're doing when we open up. What we're going to do to capture the crowd back. And I mean, I'm excited to hear that things are opening up. I just hope it's cautiously done, so that we don't have to go back into a lockdown again. And just doing, like Ron was saying, recreational hockey with the boys. Things are shut down now, but those are things that we look forward to. And yeah, miss hockey, miss sports in general, but at least we have on Sportsnet and stuff. It allows us to go back into time and look at all those old games. Some of us were alive, some of us weren't, but you can see, where the game has evolved from. So that's fun to watch too.
Yeah. So like since like lockdown started, so we see a lot of singers, artists. They are doing live shows on the Facebook or Instagram. But for the sports, we cannot do those things. But as you mentioned, Tamiz, there are so many old videos or like a PSN or Sportsnet. But individually, Sheryar, what you do without sport? What are you doing these days now?
Just it's been a lot of podcasts, reading old books. At the moment, I got myself Audible, so I've been listening to Bill Belichick's book, which is absolutely incredible. So if you're a big what's called football fan, sports fan, or just a fan of just reading, I think reading a book and after listening to it from somebody else's point of view, it's absolutely incredible. And then just the knowledge that you get, so it's a quick, you can access it quickly too. You're not reading and trying to do something else, but you can just kind of listen to the book and just, do other things. So for me, it's pretty much just about reading and just keeping my mind sharp as well too. I've been watching a ton of golf videos as well too, because I'm itching to go back on a golf course. So, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's nice to hear the newest rumor about Alberta opening up their golf course. So hopefully, this week, it just seems like the close as the time goes, there's optimism in the air, and it seems like things are slowly going to go back to normal. Tamiz said that, as long as, we take the right steps and the protocol, I think we should get back onto our normal lives or see the new norm very soon.
Yeah. So Ron, like, what do you think? Do you see any kind of the light at the end of a tunnel, or still far? Okay, your mic is off. There you go.
Yeah, got that. So, do I see a light at the end of the tunnel? I think it is positive that the governments are slowly opening up, the economy slowly. I'm still a bit cautious, though. I do hope everyone tries to be more safe than trying to be living life normal. For me, I'd hate to have a relapse and being in this situation even longer. So I'm sort of aware of that. It's just part of the things is we've had some amazing weather in Calgary the last 1 or 2 weeks, and it's just getting people outside and stuff more, right? Which I think is causing some issues, could cause some issues. That's what I'm thinking.
So yes, Zeeshan, like of course, you are from our good friend from our Pakistani community, and there are so many things that are happening, even though they're online and everything. So you want to say something about it?
So through ASAF, actually, what we recently did because of all this COVID thing, and most of our activities are in a court online, not online, sorry, or in a park, like soccer, basketball, taekwondo, and all these things. In fact, just before the COVID thing, we actually arranged very first ladies badminton tournament in Calgary.
Oh,
ladies only. Yeah. And that was a huge success. People who are familiar with Ludo, we actually had a Ludo tournament back in November, I think. So we keep doing these activities. So what we did, Mr. Pasha, who's our president, and Dr. Abdurrahman. So these guys are always, on their feet and how we can engage the community. So what we did, we actually had a activity challenge for adults and activity challenge for kids. It was a 2-week challenge just before Ramadan. Yeah. And we basically challenge our adults to be active, count your steps every day, your treadmill activities, whatever activity you do, and everyone had to drink 2 liters of water, and everyone would record their activities and post it on a Facebook group. For kids, amazing talent, like kids posted paintings, Lego projects. My kids had some engineering projects gifted through one of my brothers. Actually, he's an engineer, so he gave them some hydro project stuff, so they made those paintings. As I said, there were lots of activities, and we had an amazing time. Kids had an amazing time. I myself was participating in that challenge, so I made sure that I'm completing 12,000 steps every day, drinking water more than 3 liters every day. So during, like, now we're in Ramadan, so intake is almost none until we can open the fast. But yeah, I'm still trying to keep my walks and my steps and whatever I can. So yeah, we're engaging the community. We're trying to make the most of it. And with all of this, like, sports is closed, you cannot go out. The mental challenge that people are having, so it keeps them engaged. Like, okay, I have to do something, even, at home, or, go outside for a walk. As Ron said, the weather's pretty good now. So even I myself, I took my kids out, and we just went for a quick walk around the block. So yeah, we're trying to keep the community engaged as much as we can through different activities. Now we're not engaged one-on-one like in a sport or in a other setting, but yeah, we're doing it virtually.
Nice. So Tamiz, of course, like, you are a big fan of Flames. Of course, all of us are a big Flames fan. So let me start with you. When we locked down, the Flames were in a spot for the playoff spot, and it looks like it's gonna be the Battle of Alberta. So how much do you miss that right now?
Oh, I miss it a lot, considering we were winning in the Battle of Alberta.
That's right.
So, except for the last game, of course, Edmonton took it to us. But I think over the last couple of years, you can slowly see the battle picking up. You've got on their side, you've got McDavid and Draisaitl, and then our side, Gaudreau, Monahan. But the depth of the players on both sides is such that anyone can win on any given night. And yeah, it was a shame to have things go the way they did with COVID shutting down, and now we'll see the NHL's plan to bring things back. I think they were talking about teams being able to skate in smaller groups towards the end of May, and then perhaps having hockey start again in June, July, which is going to be something brand new for all of us. And then we'll see what happens after that. But I think they have to phase things in and take things into account. I know they're looking at neutral sites, stadium for games. 5-6 cities. I think Edmonton is one of them that is chosen. So something close by. But we'll have to see how things go and how governments react and respond to allowing, if you're allowed any fans at all into these stadiums, to see how hockey will be implemented then. But yeah, definitely missing the Battle of Alberta, missing hockey, period. It's something that I never thought we'd ever go through in our lifetimes.
True. So like Sheryar, start with you. So what did you think about the Flames this year? Of course, our expectations were so high, especially the last year. What happened in a playoff? We won the division, but now this year there was no consistency. What do you think?
Yeah, they went through a lot off the ice, on the ice. So they were one of those teams that starting from the season, they're losing what happened with Bill Peters, with TJ Brody, off the ice issues again, and then now with this stop, I think they haven't been consistent, but I think they become very resilient. So I think if they do come back on the ice, I'm probably gonna give them more chances because they have overcome so much over the last 7 to 8 months. So I give this group a lot of credit for keeping things professional, keeping things together on the ice and in the locker room with Mark Giordano. So I'm very excited. We're obviously not sure how it's going to continue, but when it does, I think I give Flames a lot more credit than I did in the past before the start of the season. So that's just my take on them.
Yeah. And yeah, Ron. So Ron, were you surprised by the performance of Goodrow this year? Were you surprised at all?
Was I surprised in terms of his drop off?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I know I've talked to Tamiz and such about performance of his to the point that there's been talk of him being traded to a different team and such because of his performance. But there's been so much that the team has had to deal with. I think it'd be good to see if they do get a chance to play the playoffs and such and see how he responds. This break is a reset, not only a mental, but also a physical reset for a lot of players. So everyone's expecting a really good rounds of playoffs and stuff because everyone will be so hyped up and physically ready. So I'd like to give him a chance as well.
Yeah. So Zeeshan, of course, I can see your head. I can tell you are a big fan of Flames as well. So when we are going through the season, and after we see a lot of changes in our team. It's going like we got a new coach and some players were not performing the way the way we were hoping for. So did you have in your mind we'll make it to the playoff this year or no?
They've been so on and off, but I think just before this COVID thing or the shutdown, they were picking up, and I had no doubt seeing them at least in a wild card position in the division. Yeah. So I think they would have made it, but or maybe on maybe the third position, but I would say it's been a little bit disappointing after seeing them doing so good in the last season, winning the division, and I thought they're gonna come with the zeal and that strength but again, as Sheryar said, they've been through so much in the last 7 to 8 months, and how they responded to the new coach, their new assistant coach. I have to give it to him that he led the team very well, and I think they are doing very good. Again, same thing that Sheryar said, that they are a resilient bunch. And I think if they're given a chance, once they come back and after this reset mentally and physically, they should go do good. And it's our team, so we have to think positive about them.
Yeah. So on the business side, Tamiz, of course, there is no hockey, so you don't see any red mile and all the restaurant bars are empty. It's a big kind of slow for everyone now, so as a businessman, as a business person you are, so what do you think what's going to happen, even though they'll play let's say the neutral side, so it won't, I don't know if they're going to open the bars or not that time, still they are going step by step. So what do you think on the business side for as a as a Calgarian?
Well, I mean, it's definitely hurting, and it's going to get it's really hard to just, I think, wrap around our heads because we don't have a model that we can go back and say they did this 15, 20 years ago when we had this kind of a crisis. We're all living through this through firsthand experience. We don't know how things are going to be, but I know from the business community, being on the conference calls, watching other franchises, how they're doing, they're having to adjust quickly on the fly. They're franchises that didn't have options for, let's say, third-party delivery are signing up like crazy for Skip the Dishes, DoorDash, Uber Eats. They're trying to get new forms of revenue. Yeah. And I think new partnerships are something that restaurateurs are going to have to look at. Unfortunately, with something like this, there's also the sobering side where businesses, I was just reading in Calgary, maybe 25 upwards of 30% of businesses may never recover and not come back again. So I think everyone has to kind of look at the opportunities that they have. It's a mindset-driven thing. like my colleagues were saying here, that you have to look at not what's wrong and live inside that bubble. You have to look at what am I able to produce in this time frame, and when we come back, what am I able to do to make us stand out and be better, so that we're able to survive. And I think, credit to the government. I look at a lot of governments around the world. They're slow to react, and they've put their citizens in a very vulnerable and a precarious position where our government, stepped up and gave us resources and tools to kind of fight back as best as possible. So we have to see now, coming forward from this, how we're able to connect with your guests, with your people that have supported you, and see how we can utilize even their talents and resources to kind of make our niche more broader.
Yeah, true. And like, Sheryar, like, I know you follow, like, NBA closely. So, like, so as an NBA fan, what do you think? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, so when it comes to NBA compared to NHL or like even like a major league, I think they're going completely. So with NHL, I know that they want to make sure that they follow all the protocols and requirements that's passed by CDE, which is like the disease and prevention department. So I know NBA, they want to finish their season because of the dominant storylines that they had. So I think they're very focused on finishing this season, and if they have to, they can cut down on next season, but they really want to finish this season when they left off from the pause. And I know NHL just wants to make sure that they want to come back, but follow all the rules and worry about next season in November or December.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where it is from the NBA. And as far as I know, like, things are changing every other day because, things are changing so quickly.
Yeah.
So their decisions are changing, and they're just trying to adjust to how things are. Yeah.
True. So yeah, Ron, I think, like, when we were talking off the air, it is supposed to be Flames, like, in the playoff game today. Is that right?
That was more of a joke. It was just a sign that I was missing it just like everybody else. But in my virtual world, yes, there was a playoff game being held.
Okay. So like in general, when we talk sports in general, for their kids, like, for our kids, like I know, Sheryar, you don't have a kid yet, but for the kids, so like, what, as a community, what can we do in this lockdown time, to promote sports in our family, in our community? Zeeshan?
So as I said, like, through our group, we have been doing some online activities for kids and adults both. But for some reason, our community as a whole, South Asian community, we're not as active as any other communities. But having said that, there are many people that now are hiking, and I think now Alberta parks are open. We should go out, walk, bike. You can still and these things you can still do. You can still bike. There's no harm and foul as long as you are maintaining that 6 feet distance or 2 meter distance between the people. You can bike, you can walk. Go out. I've seen news pieces that since Alberta parks are open, people are going out to mountains. Whatever you can do safely with your family, do it. Again, there's so many groups who are offering online free exercises, yoga, kickboxing sessions. There are karate sessions that some groups are offering online for free. So we can either gather all those resources, put it out in the community, and let people choose what they want to do.
So Tamiz, if you remember 2004. When we went all the way to the final, and we scored the whole game 6, if you remember that. So,
yeah.
so if I just trying to bring some kind of if I like when I'm talking right now, I'm getting goosebumps. So I mean, like, what a run. So what do you want to say about 2004 season? Because everyone wants to go back, wants to go watch the game again, game 6, what happened. But as in general, how was the 2004 for you?
Wow, well, 2004 was very interesting because I think when the season started, I don't think people knew what we had.
Yes.
The team sort of just, gelled together, found an identity. They had a great coach in Daryl Sutter, a great assistant coach in Jim Playfair, and all of a sudden, you start bringing in pieces. You've got Mika Kiprusoff, who San Jose was a cast-off. And he found his game, took our team to another level. You've got Iginla, who was always the consummate professional and a terrific athlete, and he seemed to bring everyone around him better. And bringing in pieces, we had Stefan Yell and Ville Nieminen, who used to take bad penalties at times, but he brought his team up. And it seemed as though every round, I think the minute we beat Vancouver in the way we did in the first round in their building in overtime. And then it just seemed like the team just started taking off. We took out Detroit, who were the #1 team, I believe in 5 or 6 games. San Jose, we steamrolled through them. And then maybe there was a little bit of fatigue when we hit into the finals too. A lot of our players had never been through that before. And, you get game 6 at home with the cup on the line. That's what I think what every NHL professional athlete wants, is a chance to win at home. And I think everything was deflated, when I remember watching the game in a bar with, hundreds of people. And I remember watching it on the CBC feed, and nobody knew at that time the puck had, gone in, until on the ABC side, they went back and looked at it and said, wait a minute, this puck looks like it went in. And by then, the rules where you drop the puck, you can't go back and look at replays again. Yeah. But I believe still now that puck was in the net. That puck should have been ours. And it's just unfortunate the way things happen. And then, game 7 in Tampa, you could see the team was quite deflated. They gave it their all. And that was a very special year for sure. It brought the city really close together. Red Mile was the Red Mile. Everything was born from there. A new generation of Flames fans came out of that. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Maybe this year, if we get it back, we might be able to do something special.
Yeah. So Sheryar, like last year, the NBA, of course, Toronto Raptors won last year, and I was hoping for a big year too. Like, of course, they were doing so well, like before the lockdown. So it's so sad to see we didn't. Hopefully, they can start the season again. Like in general, when we won, of course, it was a Canadian team. What do does it help to bring more Canadian in, like in basketball?
Of course, I think over the last 5 to 6 years, I'd say over the last year and a half, I think both NBA, both basketball and tennis have actually taken over Canada. I think with Bianca winning the U.S. Open against Serena Williams, and then last year Kawhi coming to the Toronto Raptors and help them, just the way that the team won. And now this year, when they lost him, I don't think they missed a beat. They just continue to continue to accelerate. I think their coach Nick Nurse has done a phenomenal job. Where there's not 1 or 2 person that carries the team. I think it's everybody. Every other game, it's somebody stepping up. Personally, I think they have a great chance of going back to the NBA Finals this year. I know the Bucks are really good with Giannis, but I think they are the most complete team in the NBA. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Lakers and the Raptors in the finals, with how LeBron and everyone in the Lakers are doing. So I can see the Raptors finishing. They'll definitely make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they're good enough to compete in the finals as well too.
And what about Ron? About your 2004 memory, because I know you were probably with Tamiz that time, were you?
I wasn't at the bar. Actually, the funny thing was I was watching the game 6 at my buddy's house. How's this for a story? And right by McKnight and Deerfoot is a Wendy's. So after the game ended, the Flames lost, unfortunately. And I stopped at the Wendy's by Deerfoot and McKnight. Easy spot, right? Yeah. And I went in there, and who's in there? Gary Bettman and Bill Daly.
Oh, jeez.
So they stopped. They stopped for Wendy's on their way to the airport. And I happened to walk in. I couldn't believe my luck or timing. Gary Bettman and Bill Daly. If I had known Tamiz that it had gone in, I would have told him. I would have told them on spot, I swear. But that's one of my memories, is just to happen across the NHL president and the assistant and such at a Wendy's in Northeast Calgary.
Wow. You know, like, did you buy did you buy them fries, or like they bought for you?
No. It was just I had a big smile on my face just thinking about it. I do right now as well. Maybe just I think the overall memory, just like a lot of other people, just gosh, what it did for this city, and just what we're going through right now with COVID and such. Just any sense of playoffs would have been fantastic, right? Whether Calgary, Edmonton, this whole province has been struggling for so long, and it would have been so great.
Yeah,
so great to have any sense of playoffs and such, and it would have been great for the city. But you know, it was a great experience in 2004. It was just overall amazing.
True. So yeah, Zeeshan bhai, of course, you know, like in cricket, you know, if we talk about cricket, and especially Pakistanis and in our Indian community here, they are, or like Bangladeshis or like Sri Lanka, we love to talk about cricket. This is our kind of in our blood. So, you know, like the IPL season and of course like the PCL, they were doing so good, and I think they had to stop because of this. So, you know, how much is kind of the heart kind of, you know, breaking for us?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
No, so you know, it's so much heartbreaking for us, especially, you know, our
yes. I mean, cricket. If you're from that part of the world, and if you don't have any cricket, you know, happening, it's a hard 100%. Just like, you know, no NHL or no hockey going on. I was just going through, you know, some of the postponements that happened during this time, and there's a huge list, like PSL gone, IPL gone. There's a T20 World Cup in October 2020 in Australia. That's still, you know, nobody knows if it's happening or not. There was a series between England and West Indies. That would have been an amazing, you know, series. That series is postponed because ECB postponed everything until July 1st, 2020. And then there was a Netherlands tour to New Zealand, and then Pakistan had an ODI series with Netherlands. I mean, the list just goes on, and there was so much cricket in the calendar, and all of it is gone. There are like some tours of India to Australia. Bangladesh tour. Sorry, Australia was supposed to tour Bangladesh, and that's canceled. Yeah, as I said, it's just heartbreaking to see like no sports happening anywhere in the world.
Yeah. And you know, Tamiz, you know, I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago. I think I heard something on on social media, like the soccer league, they might start the games without the fans, but I haven't seen anything after since then. Now NHL talking the same thing right now. So do you have any update on soccer or anything? What's going on in their world?
I don't. I think, you know, from what I've seen, everything is just such a fluid situation. And I think when you, especially in the United States and whatnot, every state seems to be wanting to do things differently than what you know, their next door neighbor might be doing. So I think everyone is just cautiously optimistic that you know, things will come back slowly, but at the same token, you know, the health professionals are saying, you know, especially for us, that you know, this week especially is going to be a challenging week with COVID cases and unfortunately deaths. Yeah. And I think we want to be able to make sure we don't put the cart before the horse. And I think that we still have to be prudent. We have to listen to all the evidence that's you know, in front of us. Everyone's antsy, itching, ready to get out there, but we don't want to put ourselves in a predicament where we put ourselves, you know, months in advance behind where we could be if we had taken the steps to look after each other now. Yeah. So I think, and whatnot, they have to show that they are looking ahead. They are putting in plans in place, even if it's a shorter season for next year. They're willing to do it or start the season later and finish later. but I think they have different plans in place, much like governments have a plan in place to see, when we want to implement certain phases and how we move to the next level. What is it going to look like to go to the next level? What will it take to draw back in case we do have a problem? But I think they have to be more cautious about things going forward, because once you start to relax a little bit, sometimes it's very hard to go back if that's the course of action. So let's see what happens. It'll be weird to players playing in empty stadiums, but if that's what it takes to be able to watch, so be it. We'll be there cheering anyway.
Yeah. So Sheryar, once we are back to our normal life, so it's going to be a different world. It's going to be a new normal. I think that will continue forever. It's going to be a different world for all of us, for all the businesses, for all the car rentals, sports, for everything. Because I was talking to one of the actor, like in India, when I did his interview, he said, they are in the entertainment business, same as a hockey, same as a basketball. They're like, this is entertainment. I think that's going to be the last thing people want to think before they start feeding their own family, before they're starting to get their jobs back, everything. It'll take a while. So what do you see in the new normal or new world for us next 2-3 months after? What do you see?
I wish I knew. I feel like it's going to depend on the big organization and just kind of lead the way. And then we just have to kind of follow along. Because, again, like Tamiz said earlier, we don't have – there's no game plan. We can't look back and see what this team did or what this organization did or what this company did, coming out of the pause, So I think we just have to kind of wait and see and take things very slowly, be super cautious. Because obviously we want sports and everything back, but we got to make sure that we're taking the right steps, because then we're going to lose another 6 months because, we jumped up guns and we took shortcuts. I just don't want to take shortcuts, and I don't think anybody else should be taking shortcuts. And we should just, we should be very careful with how we approach the next 6 months, because I think it's hurt so many of us, I know I just read like a number, and it's just a number. It's only been, a month and a half since NHL has closed, but they've lost over $1 billion. So, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think NHL or anybody, any of those, for NHL, it's not as much, but for smaller companies, it's a huge thing, $100,000 or like $10,000. Yeah. So I think you got to be super careful with how you take the approach and go from there.
Yeah. And, Ron, give you the little bit different question. So how do you feel as a Canadian in this lockdown?
How do I feel as a Canadian in this lockdown?
Like, as a Canadian in general, yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate some of the measures that the Canadian government has taken. It certainly feels a lot faster than some other places, which seem to be denying or, at least not putting a lot of faith that this is a real issue. So I've appreciated that. I think also in the general sense, it's just the amount of money that's being put in to sort of support everybody. And it's the right thing to do. Everyone's been affected, right? Like you have students, you have small business owners, you have other major businesses and such like that. All have been affected. Everyone has. So I also think about the money side of things, how much money has gone in. And as you say, this has been 6-7 weeks, and how much money has been announced by the federal government and also the provincial government in terms of addressing this. So happy that both Alberta and Canada are addressing this, but I also think about the money side of things. I just, if I could maybe talk about being a Canadian, I'm a big CFL fan, so I know Tamiz is I've been at 2 games as well, so I'll support the Stampeders. So just they're a Canadian, Canadian Football League team, and different situation than other leagues as well, right? CFL is a gate-driven organization, and so it's tough. You cannot play games in an empty stadium because it won't work for the CFL. So I just wanted to plug that as well. It's just hopefully they find a way, and I know they've asked for a bailout from the federal government. Hopefully we do get a season for the Canadian Football League.
Yeah. No, very well said. So like Zeeshan, but in our community, like in our South Asian community in general. So like as you know, like we don't put our our kids that much in the sports in general, because we are working 2 jobs, we are working 3 jobs sometimes, we are outside like 18 hours a day. So as a South Asian, what do you want to say to their parents or brother, sister? So how important it is to put your kids or nephew, niece into sports?
Yeah, the only thing I would say that please, please, and please, give your kids some activity, some chances. Look for organizations who can help you, support you in if you can't afford to play, or your kids can afford to play a sport. We are here to help. ASAF is one of them. There's a Canadian Tire that I work for. We have Jumpstart Charity who help kids, underprivileged kids, to play sports. Even like there are so many things. You don't need to be in professional sports. You don't need to have hockey gear. As Ron said and Tamiz said, that they have a ball hockey league that they do. Just grab a hockey stick, grab balls, and play street hockey. Running, biking, just a general walk. Be active. We have so many, especially in our community, like diseases, heart attacks, and other diseases are so prevalent just because our food is so rich, and then on top of that, we just like to after eating that food, we just like to sit and or either sleep. I am a big advocate of being active, leading a healthy life. I have turned a big page in my life myself. I have lost 90 pounds.
Wow.
I used to do CrossFit, but I can't do that anymore because of a few injuries. But I try and do as many activities as I can, and I am a big. I want to be a big advocate, and I try and be an advocate for so we can at least push adults first, so our kids can follow. Our kids don't follow just because our adults are so busy.
Yes.
And plus, there's one other thing. We see our kids as our basically our dream bearers. What we haven't done, we try and put that on our kids. Okay, I was not able to become an engineer. You have to be an engineer. You have to be a doctor. Yeah. So sports goes at the bottom of the barrel rather than being at the top. Yeah. If you don't have an active, healthy mind, they cannot even study.
Yeah.
So again, as you said, through this medium, my sincere apologies if I offend anyone, but please bring your kids to as many sports as you can. Let them participate and be active yourself. Go for walks. Simple thing. You don't have to be a macho man. You don't have to be in a kickboxing class or anything like that. Start walking. From walking, you can go for a bike. You can go for biking. Grab some markers in your backyard and do some sprints. There's so many things that you can do. So adults, go be active so you can make your kids active, and active kids are healthy minds.
True, very well said. Yeah. So Tamiz, I think this is a good thing. Like Ron just remind me about a CFL. I think CFL cannot run without the fans because of their budget and because of the funding. So, do you think it's going to be season for the for the CFL this year?
Well, I hope so. But I mean, again, if it's a gate-driven, revenue which it is, then they can't survive with 50 fans in the stands. It's just not feasible. And I think they asked for $150 million bailout from the government to see how they're going to be able to kind of put a Band-Aid on something which I just feel that with things that are in place right now, with I believe the mayor was saying that he wanted to extend the ban until the end of August. It's going to be very hard for them to come back. I think they need to look at perhaps this season going by. I don't know if they have anything in place for a shortened season. I don't know if even that is feasible. I think maybe perhaps they're going to have to look at next year as a startup. I think there's just too many hurdles in the way in such a short period of time. With to get their season in place, they would need to get their training camps already would have started. Exhibition games in June, season starting at the end of June and going right through to November. I just think if governments have put and provinces have put their restrictions in till the end of August, I just don't see this year, coming out on top for them at all.
No, actually that's right. So, Sheryar, before we finish our show, so what's your last message, or what the last thing you want to talk about? You'll ask everyone the same question.
Well, do your best to stay healthy, stay active. Like Zeeshan said, just make sure that you have a healthy and a good spirited mind, and then just continue to prepare yourself, because you never know. We may get a good news in about a week or two, and as soon as we get that go, you just want to go and just come out as a better person, more intellectual, more forward thinking, and just try to find a way to adjust to the new normal that we're going to have. So for me, it's just stay sharp and just be ready, because you never know how fast the news can come to us.
True. Rod?
For me, first of all, Zeeshan, great to hear about your journey, and I feel I've taken under 90 pounds since this COVID started. But the message of fitness has come about. I'm going to go the opposite way and talk about sports and what I've seen on TV, and just by unique timing. There was a story about sports figures. I've seen a story about Aaron Hernandez, who used to be a Patriots football player. There was a story about Michael Vick. I think last night I saw which I recorded on Pascal Siakam. And then, they replaying the Raptors run from last year. It's just incredible to watch that again. Still some amazing memories. And then, just come back to the 80s hockey and such, and seeing how did those guys not get charged for things for what they were doing on the ice. But there's just some fantastic things that they're showing as a flashback and such to various sports and such. So I've been enjoying that. I think the only player, just finishing off, the only sport, you can call it a sport, is NASCAR. NASCAR somehow has been able to continue, but no cricket, no soccer, no hockey, no football. That's my message.
And Zeeshan, of course, you can message and you can add in how people will contact you to be part of your organization.
So again, my message for everyone is to be healthy, be safe, stay safe, guys. So whenever we are ready to do our activities, you guys are there, healthy and active and ready to go. So you can contact Asaf on Facebook. We have a website, www.asaf.com or asaf.org. Google it. You should get it. Sorry, I can't remember the website right now, but we have a page, All Sports Alberta Foundation on Facebook. We have All Alberta Sports Foundation Northeast Chapter group on Facebook. So you can connect with us through All Alberta Sports Foundation. As I said, we have so many activities in the pipeline. Just before COVID, I should add that we're also going to start activities for kids with, some challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges. We had a panel of doctors, panel of kinesiologists, and volunteers who were creating programs. We did surveys with parents at what their kids would like to do. So I am really excited and hoping that inshallah we will be out of this soon and we can start activities for all kids, not just for able bodies, and for able bodies and special bodied kids and special kids as well. So stay tuned with Asaf. So as I said, All Sports Alberta Foundation page on Facebook, like it, and stay tuned for our activities. Thank you very much.
Yes, Tamiz, what?
Well, just my thing is just we have to be, I think, more cognizant of the world around us now. We have to look at each other, I think, with more sympathetic eyes. We don't know how COVID affected your neighbor, your friend across the road. It's touched everyone. It made everything an equilibrium. You could have gone and bought a $100,000 car outside, and it's sitting there. You can't use it. You can't do anything. We are all in this together, and I hope that when we come out of this, inshallah, we don't go back to where we were. That we have to look at each other with respect, with dignity, kindness. See the senior crossing the road, having a hard time, go reach out. We've been able to now utilize the web, virtual, be able to talk to each other. We should still continue to do that, because one thing that could happen is we get back to our normal, whatever normal is going to be. We get engrossed in that, and then we forget where we were the 6 weeks. It's transformative, and we ourselves need to look at what we're doing to contribute to make the world a better place. Every small step counts, and no one should feel insignificant. Everything you do is going to contribute to the betterment of the larger picture and help each other out. And I encourage people to be cautiously optimistic that things will get better, and make sure your voice is heard, and go out there and work hard and enjoy the fruits of our labor, because inshallah it'll be just around the corner.
Yeah. And I just remember my last question to you now. Okay, so I'll start with Sheryar. What's your favorite sports movie?
What's my favorite sports movie? Oh, I would say The Miracle on Ice. So I'm sure some of you have heard of it. It's the 80s college team that what's Coach Herb Brooks brings together, and then they play against some of the top Russian players, they're called the Red Army. So it's always been one of my favorite movies. But yeah, Miracle on Ice is probably my favorite movie when it comes to sports.
What about you, Ron?
The one that the name escapes me, but it's the one with Mark Wahlberg where he's a Philadelphia Eagles tryout. And this is probably from the 70s, and maybe Tamiz or the other guys will remember the movie name, but just the fact that he got onto the team and such, that was pretty cool.
So for me, Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it's one of the best movies. It's one of the movies that is played so many times in my house. And the Rockets.
Yes. And Tamiz?
Oh, mine's Varsity Blues. It's a small town college in the United States, showing how football was a religion for them at that time, and just the characters that were coming out and how college life was. It's a funny movie. It's a funny movie. I don't think there's any truth to it, but it's definitely something that'll make you laugh.
Guys, thank you so much. It was lots of fun.
Thank you.
Let's see how everything continues. Then we might do it again. If the playoffs are coming, we'll start. We'll do one more show before the playoff. I think it'll be lots of fun. Thank you, Sheryar.
Sure. Zeeshan,
thank you.
Zeeshan, I have to say, Zeeshan, if you're looking for your 90 pounds, I think I got it here.
I can show you how to get rid of them, man.
I'm gonna come when this is done. I'm gonna be ringing your bell first.
Sure.
Thank you again, guys. Stay blessed. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, guys,
Bye-bye.
हमारी sports talk with Tamiz, Ron, Zeeshan, and Sheryar. All of them, they live in Calgary. They are from Calgary. And so thank you so much again, everyone. So guys, ये था आज का show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. First I had the duos like Christian, Karishma, and Kaushal duo from Vancouver. They just had one of their mini concert last week. It was just amazing, and all of them, it just great artists, great human being, beautiful people, beautiful parents they have, and kudos to their parents. It's just amazing. And of course, then we had a sports talk. We talk in general about the business, about the NHL, cricket, Major League basketball, and soccer in general, and what do you see next 2-3 months once they're back. What do you see as a fan? What's going to happen? What's going to be new normal for the sports teams? But Joam, it was a Tamiz, Ron, Zeeshan, and Sheryar. Thank you so much. And guys, और जिन्होंने हमें देखा है from basically from around the world, I had from US to Canada to Pakistan to India, people watched us. Thank you so much. Make sure to visit my YouTube channel. It's on YouTube, Jalal _ Ladak, and you'll find all my old shows. Even this one is going to be on the YouTube as well. And then my next show is going to be Salam Namaste Calgary with Salma Jadhav. It's going to be on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Calgary time, 8:30 Eastern, and 5:30 Pacific. So we're going to have one of our really good new talent, new smiley artist from Australia, Faisal Amlani. He's going to join us all the way from Melbourne, Australia, and we'll be live on Facebook as well. So looking forward to everyone to join us on Tuesday, 6:30 Calgary time, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. And in Pakistan, I believe it's going to be 7 o'clock early morning, or maybe 6 o'clock, because I think they are about 11 hours behind. So it's going to be 5:30 or 6 or 7:30. I'm not sure about Pakistan. Let me tell you right now, because I have my calendar here. Pakistan. Okay, there we go. Karachi. So there's a 3 o'clock right now there. So we have 4 o'clock. Yeah. So there's going to be 5:30 Karachi time, and it's going to be 6 o'clock India early morning. Thank you so much, everyone. We love you all. Khuda Hafiz, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Namaste, and Ya Ali Madam. Thank you so much.